Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to flip the script on how most people think about cybersecurity. A lot of folks see it as just this pile of expensive, disconnected tools. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if we started treating it like a living, breathing system?
And that brings us to the single most important idea, really. This quote right here. Cybersecurity is an operating system for the business. Now think about that. An OS isn't just another program you run. It's the foundation for everything. It's not something you just buy off a shelf. It has to be woven right into the fabric of your business. It's fundamental, it's integrated, and it's absolutely essential.
Okay, so what does this cybersecurity OS actually look like in the real world? Well, it's a blend of four key things. You've got your governance, those are the rules. Then you've got your processes, the routines you follow every day. Of course, you have the people who make it all happen. And finally, you have all that layered tech that supports them. The whole point? To create this continuous, measurable shield that protects the entire business. Right. So, a powerful operating system doesn't just magically appear, does it? Nope, it's built on a super solid foundation. And for our cybersecurity OS, that foundation is built on four essential pillars. So let's look at them. These pillars are what give the whole system its structure. First, you've got governance and risk. That's all about setting the rules of the road. Then there's architecture and design. That's your blueprint, right? How everything fits together. Operations is the boots on the ground, handling the day-to-day defense. And finally, and this one's huge, culture and enablement. This is what makes sure everyone, from the newest engineer all the way up to the CEO, is part of the defense. All right, so we've got our foundation in place. Now let's get into the tech stack that this OS actually runs on. The best way to think about this is like layers of an onion. Each layer adds another level of protection, building on the one before it. So these first few layers are all about securing the fundamentals. We start with number one, identity and access. This is basically the digital passport for every single user. Who are you, and what are you allowed to touch? Think MFA and single sign-on. Next, we secure the devices they're using, their laptops, servers, you name it. Then, we protect the network pathways they're communicating over. And finally, we secure the actual applications they're running. See how each layer builds on the last? It's a logical progression. Okay, moving on. These next layers protect what really, really matters most. First up, the data layer. This is the crown jewels, the information itself. We lock that down with things like encryption. And of course, we have to extend that protection out to the cloud and all our SaaS apps. Then comes detection and response. This is our alarm system, It's what lets us see and act on threats. And last but definitely not least, we have resilience. This is your insurance policy. It's your ability to bounce back when, let's be honest, something inevitably goes wrong.
So an operating system is pretty useless if it's just sitting there, right? It has to run, it has to do something. So let's take a look at how this whole system actively defends the business out in the wild.
See, this whole thing is about outcomes. We're not just buying tools for the sake of it. We're putting them to work for a specific job. The first job? Prevent attacks from ever happening. If we can't do that, our next job is to limit the damage, contain that blast radius. Then it's all about speed. Detect the intruder fast, respond even faster to kick them out, and finally, recover cleanly and safely. That right there is a complete defense-in-depth strategy. And the incident response lifecycle shows this beautifully. Look at it. It's not a straight line. It's a loop, a cycle. You prepare for the worst. Then, when something happens, you detect, you contain, you recover. But here's the most critical part, that last step, lessons learned. You take what happened, you figure out how to get better, and you feed that right back into your preparation phase. That's how you get stronger over time. It's a constant feedback loop. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But you're probably asking, how do you actually build this thing? And maybe even more important, how do you prove to the business that it's actually working and worth the investment?
Well, the key here is that you absolutely do not try to build it all at once. That's a recipe for disaster. Instead, you follow a pragmatic roadmap. You start with phase one, the baseline, the quick wins. We're talking MFA and solid backups. Easy stuff, high impact. Then you move to phase two, which is all about visibility and control. You can't protect what you can't see, right? It's only after that that you move into the more advanced zero trust stuff, and then eventually automation. It's an evolution, not a revolution.
So how do we measure all this? Look, your leadership team doesn't care about how many millions of alerts you blocked last Tuesday. They care about business outcomes. They want to know, are we covered? What percentage of our laptops and servers are actually protected? Are we fast enough? How long does it take us to patch a critical vulnerability or respond to a real incident? And the big one, is our overall business risk actually trending down? These are the metrics that matter.
And when you focus on those outcomes, it keeps you firmly in the what works column here. Instead of just buying the shiniest new tool, which leads to tool sprawl, you're building a thoughtful, architecture-led program. Instead of doing these one-and-done projects that are obsolete the moment you finish them, you're building a culture of continuous improvement. You're measuring what actually matters, real risk reduction, not just how busy your team is. So look, if you take just one thing away today, let it be this. Effective cybersecurity is not a product you buy. It's a living, breathing system. It's a system you build on a solid architecture. You run with disciplined operations, and you measure by the business outcomes that actually matter. And that really leaves us with one final, provocative question to take back to your own organization. Take a hard look and ask yourselves, is our cybersecurity just a random collection of tools, or is it a living system? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.